It's the emergency broadcast. Episode 17. Chris is hyped up like Brian Bosworth of a couple of needles of... Oh my God. Chris is hyped. And I'm feeling like a fox in the middle of the motorway, a little bit flat. So I need something to pick me up.
But luckily, it's hype week. It's the best and worst hype speeches that have been in the NFL. So if you've got laundry to do or washing up or any real tasks that you don't really want to do, just wait 15 minutes, you're going to be up for it.
Wait 15 minutes to unstack the dishwasher because you'll do it in 2 seconds. You'll imagine Ed Reed is barking at you from behind.
Yeah, he's about to hit you coming through the middle. You're like,
You're like one of the... You'll unstack that dishwasher in no time. Clinton Portis.
I've just spilled water all over my notes.
You have.
We're freestyling.
We're freestyling. Freestyling like Karl Williams in the Bills locker room. Segue. Energy. Thursday night. We told you it was hype. Get hyped.
Welcome to Buffalo!
It's Karl Williams, defensive tackle, undersized coming out of college.
Especially his neck.
Especially his neck. He's a man with no neck and all the muscles in the world. He's like a big, muscly pig. He gave speeches, Lord Jesus, he gave speeches in the Bills locker room. He played for the Bills from 2006 to 2018, 6-time Pro Bowler. But why was he there? Because he gave the speeches, man. He talks about swimming pools. He talks about having lights in your eyes.
Everybody's comfortable in the shallow end with 2 feet on the ground, all right? We live in the deep water. We live in the deep water where it's uncomfortable, where it hurts a little bit. That's where we live. I'm talking about straining your guts. I'm talking about from the bottom of your feet. I'm talking about seeing sparks in your eyes.
Keeps talking about swimming pools. He decided to go with the swimming pool analogy for this speech.
And he keeps pointing fingers, specifically at Mike Tolbert, who has no idea what he's talking about. He's just thinking about swimming pools, like swimming time. For some reason, I'm imagining Mike Tolbert in like a buoyancy suit.
In a polyotter.
Just bobbing along.
Well, that was his NFL career, really, just bopping along.
There we go.
We can go a bit hypier.
Oh, hype?
Oh, no.
Hypier? Or hype, not hype?
Go less hype. Let's
So
not blow our hype load too early on this.
We started off at hype, and now we're going to dip into not hype.
No.
The king of not hype, Bill Peterson.
Oh, love him.
Houston Oilers, 1972. Bill Peterson has all the charisma of a damp rag, and he utilized that damp rag charisma in the NCAA, where he coached FSU, had a little bit of a career behind him, did quite well, and finally Bill gets his shot at the big time. The Houston Oilers, 1972, a team primed to go 1-13 in their first year, and then primed to go 0-5 in the next year, and then he got fired. And why, I hear you cry? Because Bill Peterson can't give a speech. He's like Colin Firth in The King's Speech.
Bill Peterson, during this speech, reminds me of most managers I've ever had, who doesn't really want to be there, really kind of wishes he was at home, kind of wants to miss rush hour, and then he delivers this.
I just want you to give me 110% for till 5 o'clock. And then let's go home. We're going out there this first half, and we're going to explode like a bomb. Then the second, we're just going to get higher. Third quarter, we're going to get higher. And the fourth quarter, we're just going to catch on fire, and that's our game plan. And let's just go out and do it that way.
110% until 5. Work-life balance.
Work-life balance. Got to be important.
You've got to stay on top of your mental health. You can't give 110% all the time. He was ahead of his time. 1 win in 2 years against the Jets. I mean, you could turn up against the Jets and not do any speech at all. Just walk in there and completely roll them. I mean, they're the Jets. Next up, who we got?
Well, let's go back in time to Super Bowl
2?
Yeah, 2.
Okay, we're really going back. Turn back the clock. It's Super Bowl 2.
Super Bowl 2, and none other than Mr. Vince Lombardi.
Vince Lombardi, Super Bowl 2, Green Bay Packers.
At that point, wasn't playing for the Lombardi Trophy. That would have been weird if they'd already named the trophy after him. They did subsequently, though. Unfortunately, this was the last year that Lombardi would coach the Packers. After this, he would go on to retire from coaching for 1 year and then come back with the Redskins in 1969.
Everybody does.
Yes.
I think every single NFL player has some kind of addendum at the end of their career and tried to come back with the Redskins and eventually retired.
Yeah. But this speech is pretty cool because apparently it was recorded by Jerry Kramer, classic O-lineman, whose jersey we did have. He had recorded audio of this speech. I'm not quite sure how he does this in 1968. It's not like he's got a phone or anything like that. He's standing there holding some sort of dictaphone, but in 1968 that dictaphone would be shoulder held.
So he's stood there with a boombox,
Yeah, exactly.
gramophone, and was like,
Yeah.
hold up, guys, listen to this.
You're the only team, maybe, in the history of the National Football League will ever have this opportunity to do it twice. It's a club that's going to hit you, they're going to try to hit you, and you're going to take it out of them. Just hit, Just run, just block, and just tackle. If we do that, there's no question what the answer's going to be in this morning.
No one really thought they were going to beat the Raiders, but Lombardi delivered this absolutely killer speech about fundamentals, and they went on to win.
Fundamentals, baby. It's all about fundamentals and giving 110% until 5 p.m. Then you go home and have a nice time. Just want to remind everyone, it's Thursday night and it's hype week, so...
Yeah, we got less hype. Let's get more hype. Let's go to the hypiest hype speech of all time that was not said by a real human being, but a fictional character. Hugh, who is it?
Al Pacino. Any given Sunday, we've all seen it. Let's not tread over old ground. I don't want to talk down to you. You know what I'm talking about. One of the greatest speeches of all time, played in locker rooms and acting classes alike to go, what a fantastic speech. It G's you up. It's a brilliant piece of acting. But did you know the stories behind it? No? Well, strap on in. It's Thursday night hype week, and you can take this to the water cooler on Monday, even though you don't go there anymore because work is cancelled and the earth is on fire. The Al Pacino speech in Any Given Sunday is actually ripped from a speech given by Marty Schottenheimer, the world's best dressed man. In 1989, he gave a speech to the Browns, which eventually turned into, or was the inspiration for, Tony D'Amato's speech to the Miami Sharks and Willie Beeman and Jamie Foxx and the guy that looks like Carson Palmer.
Willie Beeman was Jamie Foxx.
Yeah, he is, yeah.
Willie Beeman was there, Jamie Foxx was there, Django was there.
Ray Charles was there. It was filmed at 12 o'clock at night at Jerry World in Dallas, and they've set the entire locker room up, and a runner goes to Al Pacino's trailer and says, Mr. Pacino, we're ready for you on set. And 12 o'clock at night is late. I don't know what was happening in the Dallas Cowboys locker room.
Jerry Jones had just finished draining a newborn fetus of all of its stem cells. They're like, okay, cool, we're free now, let's go in.
It's 12 o'clock at night. The runner's running lines with Al Pacino in his trailer. He's sort of shanking it, fumbling over lines. And the runner, which seems quite, obnoxious for a runner to say this to Al Pacino, who is number one on the call sheet. Are you all right? Are you going to be able to do this? And Al Pacino goes, yeah, I'll be fine. Takes him to the locker room. And the locker room is full of extras, a lot of whom are American football players, because obviously they're playing American football players. It's 12 o'clock at night, everyone's tired. Pacino walks in, smashes this speech out 3-4 times, and it is electric.
You find out life's this game of inches. Because in either game, life or football, the margin for error is so small. I mean, 1/2 a step too late or too early, and you don't quite make it. 1/2 second too slow, too fast, you don't quite catch it. The inches we need are everywhere around us. Hell yeah. They're in every break of the game, every minute, every second.
People going absolutely spare in the Dallas Cowboys locker room.
On this team, we fight for that inch. On this team, we tear ourselves and everyone else around us to pieces for that inch. Yeah. We claw with our fingernails for that inch. Because we know when we add up all those inches, that's gonna make the fucking difference between winning and losing. Between living and dying.
It's so rousing is the speech. Sporting titans such as Steve McClaren, Middlesbrough manager.
Big Mac himself?
Big Mac. He played it to the Middlesbrough team. Now, I want you to imagine this. Just lock this in. A bunch of Middlesbrough players
wheeling a television like a substitute teacher.
Wheeling an overhead projector before the League Cup final in 2004 against Bolton Wanderers. I can imagine it's actually Steve McClaren holding a 2004 small DVD player. It's like, crowd round, lads. Have a look at this.
A bit of college.
Let's do college. I'm there.
Let's talk about Les Miles, okay? LSU's godfather, a.k.a. The Hat.
Why was he called the Hat?
Wore a hat.
Okay.
Also known as the Mad Hatter, because he also wore a hat and was mad, because he made crazy calls.
He was clinically insane.
He was also known as Lesdicles. He called so many bizarre and wonderful plays in college football. He's the king of college football trick wizardry. We're talking fake punts, fake throws, fake kicks, bounce passes, somehow pulls it off.
Bounce pass.
Oh yeah, I know, it's weird. The most interesting, he eats grass.
Please explain.
No explanation necessary. He just goes, I feel as a man, it humbles me to become one with the pitch upon which I'm playing. So wherever he goes, he eats a bit of the grass.
Like a cow.
Like a cow. Apparently LSU's grass tastes the best.
Well, he would say that as a grass connoisseur who also coaches LSU. You can't be like, oh yeah, to be fair, Oklahoma's grass is...
I know.
Things about playing like we play.
Of course he's in a hat.
This day's about dominating an opponent. This day is about being LSU.
I'm kind of looking at like what it takes to do a good locker room speech through all of these speeches, and you either have incredible wordplay that builds to a climax, Al Pacino, or you have yelling and pointing at people. Karl Williams, Les Miles.
Yeah.
Still on college?
Sure, have you got one?
Yeah, of course I've got one.
Who's that?
Timothy. Tim Tebow. 2 speeches.
I was going to say, which one are you going to pick?
There's 2 in the same season. The Florida Gators are, in 2008, supposed to be the guys. They're supposed to be Miami Hurricanes 2001. They are stacked. They have Tim Tebow. They've just got rid of Chris Leak.
Future murderer Aaron Hernandez. Future racist Riley Cooper.
2007, Tim Tebow. This unbelievable sort of plug-and-play runner, thrower, Christian man, pillar of the community at quarterback. He won the Heisman in 2007, and this is 2008. He's supposed to go in there and boss it. Now, the Florida Gators lose to Ole Miss, and that is a shocker. Ole Miss walk into the swamp, and they defeat the Florida Gators. Tebow is driving. It's 31-30. Tebow's driving all the way down the field. It's 4th and 1. That's where they live. The Florida Gators in 2008 live on 4th and 1. They know they're going to get it. What are they going to do? Quarterback draw, obviously. Give it to Tebow. The Lord will carry him through. They stuff Tebow. It's horrible to watch. It's like watching Anthony Joshua get knocked out. It's like, what? That's not supposed to happen. He's supposed to run through and score. The Lord has ordained it.
He's God's child.
And so after the game, Tim Tebow gives his famous promise speech, which is so lit.
I'm sorry. Extremely sorry. You know, we were hoping for an undefeated season. That was my goal. Something Florida's never done here. But I promise you one thing. A lot of good will come out of this. You have never seen any player in the entire country play as hard as I will play the rest of the season, and you never see someone push the rest of the team as hard as I will push everybody the rest of the season, and you never see a team play harder than we will the rest of this season. God bless.
Fast forward, off the back of this promise speech, national championship, 7-7 at the half. Tim Tebow's not having that. He's given one speech and now he's about to give another one. He grabs his men in the locker room. Now this is a speech. I love this. It just comes out of nowhere. It's just like a circle of players, like someone's clearly gone, all right, let's get back out there. And Tim Tebow has been listening to nothing but Metallica for the entirety of the halftime break, rips his headphones off and says, get in here! Get in here! We got 30 minutes!
Hey, let's go! Get in here! Get in here right now! Get in here! Hey, we got 30 minutes for the rest of our lives! 30 minutes for the rest of our lives! That's our bad in the first half. It ain't happening. We get the ball. I promise you one thing. We're going to hit somebody and we're taking down the field for a touchdown. I guarantee you that. Guarantee. Look at me. Look at me. Let's go. We got 30 minutes. Let's go. For the rest of our lives. Let's go.
We've got 30 minutes for the rest of our lives. 30 minutes for the rest of our lives. Tim Tebow, that's a speech. I'm hyped. Plug it up there. That's one of my favorites so far. Jameis Winston, eat a dub. Pains me to put this on this list. Jameis Winston, Bucks versus Saints. The Bucks are sat at 2-4, our best record in years. And so we need G'ing up. We need to carry on this losing streak, as we always do. You've got the Buccaneers in the circle. We've all seen the clip. He comes in and says,
Let's go. That's a W. Let's eat one. Let's eat one. That's a W.
I want to eat that dub. And it's much like a speech he did earlier to FSU when he says, we're a bunch of dogs, not puppies.
SEC, Florida State. We some dogs. We ain't no puppies.
The will is there, but everyone just sort of go, what is he talking about?
They came bounding over. And I just made it into the front door in time.
If you want to see a man check out of a team, look over his shoulder at Deshaun Jackson.
Look at Deshaun Jackson's face. It's the same look me and Hugh get when we're walking down Peckham High Street and pass a fishmonger on a hot day.
Jameis Winston eats his own hand as an encouraging maneuver, and what do the Bucks do? They go out there and they lose, of course they do. And they go to 2-6, and then even Joe Flacco gets in on the action. The only thing worse than having Jameis Winston do that is having Joe Flacco get a sort of social one-over on you. Okay, I'm feeling like we promised hype, and we've had hype, and now we're tailing off after sort of Jameis Winston eating his hand, Joe Flacco eating his hand. I want hype now. I want to take us through the roof. I want Ed Reed, 2001 Miami Hurricanes.
Ed Reed doesn't like to speak a lot. He's a very quiet man. He prefers to let his play do the talking. And he did that on the 2001 Miami team, arguably the greatest college team of the decade. Some would say even history. The Miami team was down to FSU because this is a team that during the following year's draft, 75% of NFL teams took someone off that roster.
Yeah, it's absurd.
50% of the teams got a first-round pick out of it. 17 first-round picks. The fact they were down to FSU is nuts, and Ed Reed's not happy.
I'm hurt, dog. Don't ask me if I'm all right. Hell no. Joaquin said dominate, and we not doing it. I'm putting my heart in this dog. Let's go, man. Let's go, baby.
Short, sweet. You know when Ed Reed has stood up and said that?
Chills. And the Canes went on to outscore the Seminoles 28-8, I think, the second half.
Of course they did.
Yeah, even in the 17 first-round picks, didn't even include Clinton Portis or Frank Gore, who were, or Antrell Roll, who were all sophomores at that point, freshmen. If you really want to enjoy college football and care about the legacy of some of your favourite players, just go and watch some of that 2001 highlight.
So
Sean
good.
Taylor is in there. Sean Taylor's not even starting. Let's talk Kirk Cousins. $84 million guaranteed. The problem with giving a rousing pre-game speech is you need to have a voice to give a rousing pre-game speech. In Kirk Cousins, even though the words and the sentiment is there, unfortunately he sounds like one of the members of the Mikado.
That's because it was earned, man. Nothing in this league is free. Win on three, 1, 2, 3, win!
Sounds like a flute.
Yeah.
A piccolo is giving you someone's playing the piccolo to G you up.
Yeah, unfortunately, Kirk Cousins sounds like one of the three little maids from the Mikado. I mean, if I've got to be honest, it doesn't matter who you are. If you're Everson Griffin, you're standing there listening to this mouseketeer, letting his voice break every 3 words. I'm not having it. I'm just going to be like, I don't want to play for this guy.
Nothing in this league is free.
Anyway, Ray Lewis, 2012. The Ravens have just lost to the storming New England Patriots and Tom Brady. Buccaneers legend, Tom Brady. Oh my God, imagine if they cancel the season and then he retires. Tom Brady's just beaten the Baltimore Ravens in 2012. Ray Lewis is pissed off. It's one of his last chances to get another ring. He won one in the year 2000, 2001, when it's one of his first years in the league, and he wants another one to retire on. So he gives this speech. It's another Tebow. It's another Ed Reed. It's a player who's fired up, coming at his team saying, next year, we're going to go all the way. And did they? Yes, they did.
This year, we did what we were supposed to do. We fought as a team. We fought as a team. There will be one Super Bowl champ crown at the end of this year. That's it. So the way we feel, somebody gonna feel like that tomorrow, and somebody gonna feel like that in a week. That's a fact. And the fact is, we got to come back and go to work to make sure we finish it next time.
I've got Matthew McConaughey.
All right.
Matthew McConaughey, massive Texas Longhorns fan. In 2014, they lost. And Matthew McConaughey doesn't like when his Texas Longhorns lose. So the coach invited him to give a speech. And despite saying at the very beginning, I'm not going to do this sort of like whole G'ing up locker room type speech. Does he do it? Yes, he does. He's just won the Best Actor Oscar 2014 for Dallas Buyers Club. He's very good in that. He's a very good actor when he wants to be.
And your best friend Jared Leto.
Yeah. And then they end up doing the Wolf of Wall Street.
As the Longhorns prepared for Kansas, head coach Charlie Strong invited a special guest to practice.
All right, let's get it going one time, right?
The thing that Matthew McConaughey loves about college players is no matter how old he gets, they stay the same age.
How many more we got?
Well, we've got one, and we've got him up here. The one, the only, the myth, the legend, Mr. Drew Brees.
Drew Breesy.
Turns up at Purdue on his off day to rouse the troops.
As I go around the room here, DBs, man, you guys got to play with swagger today. I've never met good DBs that didn't go out there with ultimate confidence. Linebackers, hit somebody, man. Wide receivers, man, make that play. We need you to make that big catch across the middle. Running backs, man, I love you boys. QBs, we throw darts, man. Balls don't touch the ground. Tight ends, maybe the best athletes on the field. O-line, you control the game. Defining moment today. If you're with me, give me 2 claps. If you're with me, give me 2 claps. Let's go.
The sad thing is, flashback to the Superdome, you've got Jameis Wilson eating his hand.
That's a W. That's E1.
And then an actual leader, Drew Brees, on the other side. This speech is incredible.
Defining moment. today. If you're with me, give me 2 claps. If you're with me, give me 2 claps.
Took his bye week and was like, still going to go and rouse some people. I can't go a week without inspiring someone to victory. But I love the Boilermakers in general. I think that's a great
name. Great logo.
But is it a beer with a shot of whiskey in it? Because it looks like a train, right? It's a train, right? A Boilermaker. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's their. That's one of their logos. The other logo is a an actual like plumber.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think it's great. It's like the Michelin Man crossed with a plumber. Drew Brees calling out all the position groups in the Purdue Boilermakers locker room. That's all we've got.
That's all we need.
That's all we need. It's been the Emergency Broadcast, episode 17. Share it. The only way we're going to turn this from a Bill Peterson speech.
I just want you to give me 110% for till 5 o'clock. And then let's go home.
Into an Ed Reed speech.
Hell no!
To win the national championship is you guys.
I think we did an alright job there.
I think we did an alright job. We got hype. Now go and unstack that dishwasher and get prepped for number 18. Episode 18 next week.
Don't even use the door from the living room into the kitchen. Just run through the damn wall.
Run through the wall.
And then fix the wall.
And then fix the wall. That was episode 17. We'll see you next week. Peace.